So I teach the basics of camera work, I teach the basics of editing, and then once students have got a little bit of that under their belt, then they can really sort of take that and do something amazing with it. They can go off and produce their own pieces of television journalism. If they want to, they can make a final project. It's a short film really going into depth on a particular subject. And I can support and aid those students in all of those processes. I'd spent 3 years at university making student TV, and obviously that was on my kind of CV, if you want, that was in my background. And before I even went to university, probably the thing that swang it for me was that I got to spend some time working with a Channel 4 production company before I went to university. Now my job was really to look after the producers. They were, Channel 4's remit at that point, very, very early in its life, was to give voices to people who weren't normally on TV. And the people I was caring for, driving them around in their van and things like that, were two disabled TV producers, and they were away from their normal sort of network in London, and so that was my job, and I got to see the whole of the TV production process from the very beginning to the very end, and that really kind of made my mind up that TV was something that I wanted to do. So with those kind of things on my CV, maybe it wasn't just completely luck that the BBC gave me a job. So yeah, one of the most notable things I did while I was working for the BBC Television Centre was the 1992 general election. So obviously you have to work through the night, you're just constantly recording all the different results as they come in, and then you kind of have to clip out the little bits of the results so they can be played out during the live broadcast. Sometimes they go out live if it's a particularly special one, but some of the other ones just have to be recorded. That was a really kind of exciting moment. That's when you definitely felt that what you were doing was making a real difference, that you were actually providing the news firsthand to people. And then, we've kind of repeated that at the university. Every time we have an election, we send students down to the count in Sheffield. We ask them to get all that footage, and we go through the night as well. And so to be able to reproduce that, the kind of feeling of excitement, that feeling of sort of really being at the heart of everything with our students, means that it's not just all in the past, it's not just all kind of memories. We have that, some of the adrenaline, some of the excitement as well. For me, the most interesting thing about my job is the interaction with people and the watching people develop. Coming in, they might even be a little bit scared of the camera. They might be kind of, I can't work with computers. If I can help them to overcome those fears, that's amazing. If at that point then they can produce something really good, then that's amazing too. Some of the best things have been people who've come in the first couple of sessions, and then by the end they've actually they're a bit unsure, but then by the end of the course they're actually producing really amazing work. Editing is just an endlessly creative process. Sometimes I talk about it being like a jigsaw with no picture on the front of the box, and you can change the shape of the pieces as well, which sounds infuriating. But if you're into jigsaws, then it's kind of also the ultimate challenge. How do you take all these little bits and pieces that you've got and fit them together to make it whole, and to make it really good, and to make it really interesting, to make it something that people will want to watch? And so for me, that's the challenge, and you can just go on forever. It's got a really, really friendly atmosphere. When you meet a new person, you have a conversation with them, and after about 5 or 10 minutes you realise you've got at least one friend in common already, and it's so kind of close and sort of close-knit. That makes it a really friendly place for me to live. I came here for a couple of years and I'm now here, as you say, more than 20 years later. I'm still in Sheffield because I don't really want to leave. So yeah, living here, working here is great. The university is a very friendly place to work. So if again, you will end up bumping into people that you've bumped into in your local park or in your local pub, will be also working at the university. They'll know all the places that you know, go to some of the same places that you go to, and there's got that same kind of friendly atmosphere in the university as well. So when I started, editing was a very, very specialist kind of trade. You had to have quite a lot of expensive equipment. You maybe have a sort of separate room. You would go away and you'd go to the edit suite. Nowadays, anyone can edit. People probably already have edited little films on their phone. They'll certainly be able to edit very sort of complicated things on a laptop. And so, you don't need all these screens and fancy stuff that I've got here. It makes it a bit easier on your eyes, but you can do really quite powerful editing on a very, very small device. And I think that's the way it's going to go in the future. The idea that you have to have a special room is nothing. People will be just editing on their devices, on their portable devices, whether that's a tablet or a phone, and they'll be doing really amazing things. And I think more and more of us will be editing. That's the main thing that I see in the future. It's not a specialist role. It's something that everybody will be doing, whether it's for their social media videos or whether it's in a journalistic sense, but everybody is now an editor, and that's only going to continue, and I think people's skills are only going to get stronger and stronger as time goes on.